Welcome back to the Anger Man podcast with Jason and Greg. So Shakur had a performance last night. We talked about this performance and how it was going to be a measuring stick versus someone like Frank Martin, how he performed against Gervonta Davis. As a matter of fact, Shakur Stevenson also mentioned that this would be somewhat of a measuring stick. Now, personally, I had him losing the first two rounds because I didn't think, or first few rounds, I believe it was first two or three, because I didn't think he did anything in those first 2 or 3 rounds. And then after that, he dominated the rest of the fight. I gave him rounds 4 through 12. Easy work for Shakur Stevenson. But it was a performance that honestly was forgettable, right? Shakur was saying during the rounds or in between rounds, according to people that I talk to, I don't listen with the volume on because I don't like to be influenced by what the commentators are saying. But he said he was going to knock Arum out. He mentioned before that he was going to try to knock Arum out. He was going to be right in front of him. He wasn't in front of Arum the first 2 to 3 rounds. Once Arum started to gas with all the movement, then he was standing in front of Arum and he did what he had to do. One of the things that I'm noticing about Shakur Stevenson and the reason why he was booed last night is because his style is just not very appealing. He is a very skilled fighter, don't get me wrong. And I like Shakur's style, to be quite honest with you. I like hit and not getting hit. But at the same time, I think a lot of that or the way that he goes about doing it, I think is the issue. And I think it creates a style that's just not appealing to fans, not even his hometown fans. And we were talking about this last night in the Discord. And if you guys are interested, make sure you ask for the link for the Discord. We talked about this during the entire fight. But some people in the Discord who I would say are Shakur fans, they feel that Shakur boxes in a way that is appealing. I mentioned that I believe Gervonta Davis was right in saying that, you know, Shakur Stevenson doesn't slip. And a lot of people push back on that in the Discord. But I believe it's true. He doesn't. I'm not saying he never slips, but he doesn't slip a lot. Like Shakur's defensive posture is mostly he's either moving back or he's trying to parry. He's blocking the body shots with his arm. He's deflecting straight right hands like this. And he's pulling directly back. He's leaning back to avoid shots. He's not coming up under shots. Yeah, and just delivering. He's not throwing combinations. He's not parrying and then getting off shots. He's very defensive minded to the point where he reminds me a lot of an older Floyd, but still, even an older Floyd would roll shots and really get shots off out of a defensive posture. Shakur is very selective in when he throws because he doesn't want to be countered. And I think that is why his style is so unappealing to people. Now, I believe it was Antonio Tarver that made this statement, and I agree with Antonio Tarver in this, that there are a lot of these younger fighters that demonstrate aspects of certain skills, like the parrying, like the deflecting, and so forth and so on, catching shots, you name it. But there are aspects of what they're missing as well, like, you know, like the slipping and the throwing the shots or the parrying and getting your shots off 3, 4, 5 punch combinations instead of, you know, 1 or 2 shots and then getting back into a defensive posture so you don't get return fire. And, you know, it looks Mayweather-esque, right? But it's not really what we saw from fighters like Mayweather or James Toney or, you know, Bernard Hopkins, so forth and so on. And so that's the reason why I feel that the style just isn't appealing. No knock to him. He's a really, really, really good fighter. And I think just overall his size and his style will present a challenge to Gervonta Davis for sure. But it's just an unappealing style. And I still have Tank beating him. I want to make that clear. I still have Tank beating him, but he will present a challenge because he's very defensive. So it's hard to get your punches off because he's not really engaging or he doesn't engage enough to actually, I don't know. It's just hard to get shots off on him because he's like this and then he's bigger. So once he feels that he's in a safe zone where he can get shots off and doesn't have to worry about, or the probability is much lower that you're going to be able to return shots, then he'll throw 1 or 2 punches and then get back into a defensive posture. This didn't help his case whatsoever in terms of, number one, getting a Gervonta Davis fight, which he should. And I'm saying that he should. Tank has to take that fight. But getting the money that he wants from a Gervonta Davis fight, This did not help his case whatsoever. Your hometown booing you. I believe there were only 8,400 attendees in the building, if I'm not mistaken. And just not being able to finish the guy off when he's right there, like lacking that dog, lacking that killer instinct, lacking the willingness to put on a show, to really let your hands go so that you can get the opponent up out of there. That's a problem. That's a problem. And I know a lot of those fighters around that camp think that they're like Terrence Crawford. They're not. Crawford actually delivers knockouts. Crawford throws his punches. He throws his hands. So in my opinion, they're trying to take the credit, or maybe display the effects or they're Terrence Crawford through osmosis or something like that, but they're not. They're really not. Shakur is not Bud. He lended credence to what Bob Arum had to say in regards to his value and what he believes he's worth. He mentioned after the fight that he turned down a $15 million 5-fight deal, $3 million per fight guaranteed, to become a free agent. Now that's perfectly within his rights. He should go out there and test the market. Any free agent should go and test the market. So I don't begrudge him for doing that, but I don't believe he's worth more than that. Honestly, I mean, has he ever even been on pay-per-view? How is he even demanding $3 million a fight? I don't even know how they're even paying him that, right? So, Eddie Hearns talked about having some level of interest. Oscar De La Hoya talked about having some level of interest. We've heard Floyd say that he would probably be interested in signing him. But at the end of the day, this wasn't going to help his case in terms of getting a contract that's bigger than that. I personally would think if he has the opportunity to get a bigger contract, it's probably going to be through Floyd Mayweather. Personally, I do not believe that Matchroom or Oscar De La Hoya are going to, number one, pay him anymore, but even promote him in a way that makes him more marketable, right? Shakur has to lean in there, and he has to try to create a more fan-friendly style. We saw Floyd do it when he stood in the pocket a little bit more, but Floyd was actually exciting at 35. That's the difference. Floyd let his hands go at 35. Jason is famous for saying, because he loves to say, yeah, but a lot of fighters want to be money, but they forget Pretty Boy. Pretty Boy threw punches, a lot of them. These guys do not. So he has to be more active in trying to promote himself, being more excited in the ring. You can still keep a defensive style, but you got to let your hands go, brother. Like, you just sitting in the pocket and just kind of blocking and deflecting punches. Man, nobody really cares about that. And I'm not trying to be funny. I like Shakur. I really do. But they just simply do not care about that. You're not going to build a fan base like that. And personally, I don't even think you can beat Gervonta Davis like that. We know Tank gets off to a slow start. But just simply throwing one or two punches around and you constantly moving back, because he will be moving back. He won't be standing in front of Tank like he was in front of this guy, because number one, the punches will be coming at different angles, and I think he'll have a more difficult time blocking Tank shots versus Arum. But you can't just win a fight against a name like Gervonta Davis fighting in that style. He's gonna have to let his hands go a little bit more. So it is what it is. You guys let me know in the comment section. We got a poll up currently in regards to Shakur Stevenson. Check it out. Let us know what you think through the polls. Let us know what you think in the comment section in this video. Don't forget to hate, like, comment, and subscribe. And check out the Discord. We welcome you to the Discord. Until next time, peace.